All right, welcome back, Prospect Live viewers and listeners. We're back with another 2021 MLB draft interview. In the hot seat today, big one, left-handed pitcher from the University of Cincinnati, Evan Shawver. How you doing, Evan?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Doing well, man. Doing
Doing
well.
well. Excited to have you on the show,
Yeah,
man.
for sure.
We're
Guys.
big fans of a good lefty. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about, we've talked about the 2020 season and how it was delayed and all that, but I want to ask you, with having so much time off, what has that allowed you to do in terms of developing yourself physically, mentally, and just preparing yourself for 2021? Where have you seen the biggest growth and gains?
Yeah, I feel like over quarantine, all over the COVID stuff. There's a place about 15 minutes away from my house called T3 Performance, and it's a really nice weight room with really nice facilities. So it allowed me to develop more weight gain in the weight room, and I actually developed a change up there. I've been working on that ever since we got back to campus, and I think having that 3 pitch sequence going into this upcoming years is a big thing for me, and it's really allowed me to work on everything else.
Why don't you tell us really quick about that 3 pitch sequence? Kind of introduce yourself as a pitcher, introduce yourself as a person. For future fan bases or for the team that drafts you, why don't you kind of introduce yourself?
Yeah, so I'm from Lorraine, Ohio. 30 miles west of Cleveland. I went to a school called Steel. It's called Amherst Steel. I played football. It's a wide receiver and corner. So I was a two-sport athlete in high school. And then, pretty much just going on to that pitch sequence. I'm fastball curve freshman sophomore year. Then once COVID hit, I was allowed to really work on something. I was even going to work on try and bring a slider into the mix or a change up. I thought the changeup was really working. It's more of a power changeup, like 87, 89. But, it's something that I feel comfortable with. I feel like freshman, sophomore year when I was, working on it, I was kind of babying it a little bit. So I finally felt a speed that, felt comfortable. And I finally got to throw it in the fall. And I've seen a lot of progression with it. So I was really excited for that.
Let's dig in a little bit on the changeup. In terms of, you say it's a power changeup. What kind of movement are we talking about? Were there certain elements of just turning it over or whatever that you focused on a little bit more? I mean, what was it that sort of made the difference? Because you obviously had some time to work on that.
For sure, yeah. Everyone I've always been a part of, besides JD, our pitching coach here, does a really good job. Everyone always told me a changeup should be 7 to 10 miles an hour off your fastball. But everyone's different, and I look at that in the majors. So my changeup was, like I said, 87, 89, probably like 3, 4, 5 miles an hour off my fastball. But I felt like that was the most comfortable for me, where I was allowing to get that sink, like that little dive down that I wanted. So I just kind of been rolling with that ever since.
Evan, having talked to some scouts that have seen you up at Cincinnati, the biggest takeaway that I keep hearing about your stuff is, it's not the biggest velo, it's not the craziest curveball, but man, he misses bats. Like, his stuff is loud, it explodes at the plate. Can you kind of talk about why you think your fastball is so effective, why you think your curveball is so effective?
For sure, yeah. I don't really try to do too much. I'm not gonna blow 105 by somebody. But I really just try to miss bats, try to get ahead of counts. Try to win. JD, he preaches win the evens. 1-1s, 2-2s, all that. So I feel like just kind of playing my stuff off of that. Not trying to get behind the counts because 2-0, 99% of the time you're gonna throw a fastball. Not letting those hitters get that sequence in their head. So I really just try and pitch backwards, what pitch is working that day. So I feel like that definitely allows me to miss bats.
In terms of the tech and some of that stuff, are you a feel guy? Or are you going into sort of the lab or and just sort of working out in front of the Rapsodo and really digging into some of those numbers, or is it more like a feel thing for you?
No, I'm definitely a big feel guy. I don't really know too much about analytics. I feel like when I do think about it, it just gets in my head a little bit too much. So definitely just trying to work on like the feel aspect. I feel like is definitely something that's allowed me to improve my growth over the years.
You talk about growth. You talk about adding a changeup. You're now walking into your draft eligible year. I want to know, in talking with coaches and talking with scouts, talent evaluators, is there something that those guys have pointed to in saying, hey, you've come a long ways, but this is what you still need to work on in order to kind of take your game to that next level?
Yeah, I definitely feel like, freshman year, after coming in for my senior high school season, I feel like I let the game, speed up a little bit too much that freshman year, and walks were a big aspect. I think almost, 40% of the innings I was walking somebody that inning my freshman year. So I feel like that's definitely something that I had that growth on. But really just, limiting the free bases, I feel like would only allow me to go so much because the sky's the limit when you don't walk or give up the free bases that you need.
Let me talk I want a little bit about, your summer. Obviously it was very different than it probably would have been previously, where you might have been, Cape Cod or Northwoods or whatever. What was it you did this summer, and sort of what competition did you face?
Yeah, so actually, I was going back up to the Cape. I went there after my freshman season. Unfortunately, it got canceled. I ended up not going to a summer league. I just kind of, try to work on that changeup. But I feel like a really big improvement that allowed me is the weight room. I'm really big, on lifting weights, a lot of lower leg, lower body, ab kind of workouts. So I feel like, just getting that maturity through the weight room and all the other stuff is allowing me to do everything else.
So it was the first time you saw live ABs, like the fall?
Yeah, yep. I didn't throw one in live AB since I believe Eastern Michigan was my last starts. And then to the live, my first live batter was that fall this past fall.
There you go.
Well, last year, you topped out at 94, kind of sat in that 89 to 92 range. You've been talking about the weight room. You've been talking about weight gains. Have you opened it up enough yet to kind of see what you're capable of, or is that kind of still a couple weeks away?
I definitely still think it's a couple weeks away. Like since we've been back, I have been trying to blow everything out. I'm just trying to, work it up, increase it a little bit into the first game. But I definitely feel like you said the weight room and all that's, allowing me to have. I feel like that's where my velos came the most. Just trying to get that stronger, the stronger physical kind of aspect of everything.
Really quick, over the course of the summer, did you throw at all? And when you were throwing, where was your velo sitting?
Yeah, so I threw definitely a lot of bullpens, with no live hitters. But over the summer, I was topped out at 97, but I was sitting like 4 to 5. Something like I would say more like 3 to 5, but I touched 96, 97 a couple times.
That's loud.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's loud.
I was definitely excited to see, but there's still much still more I had to do because that was my top. I wish I could be saying that, but there's only work to do for that.
Yeah, for sure. You talked a little bit about, looking at MLB and sort of looking at, your change up. Is there anybody in particular that you sort of model your, let's say, style, pitch mix, mechanics after? Is there anyone that you like, sort of your idol, or do you sort of take bits and pieces from different guys?
For sure. I definitely have two in mind. One actually just got drafted last year. His name's Logan Allen out of FIU.
Yep.
I was definitely him. I was able to play with him freshman year in the Cape that summer, and just trying to pick his brain as much as I can. He really allowed me to, where I'm at today. Is definitely has a big part of that. And then another after when COVID is still a thing, I got to watch Blake Snell a lot. And just watching his mindset, his mechanics, the way he goes about the game. I feel like those two people were definitely the biggest part where I model my game.
So if you were on the same team with Logan Allen, Logan Allen didn't give up like a run in like 19 innings, did he?
No,
he was a monster at the Cape.
He was
crazy
in the Cape, and just watching him go out there and compete and do his thing, and trying to pick his brain of how he goes about his business was it's super cool. It definitely relates to him pitching on the mound.
Yeah.
You've come a long way too, because I didn't even realize that I actually saw you I think June 23rd at Hyannis, where I think you must have come in after Logan Allen.
Yeah,
It was like my first day of vacation down there, and my wife was pissed because I left it like we like checked in, and I was like, Logan Allen starting, honey, and I have 3
Yeah.
kids. So like I'm awful. And like I shot over there, and he was facing Patrick Fredrickson. Because like Daniel Cabrera, I have the video up, but Daniel Cabrera hits a homer in that game.
He's one of my roommates in Cape Cod, Daniel Cabrera.
Yeah. He had a great Cape, man. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was a loaded team, that Harvard team.
It was a good time for sure. Definitely one of my top moments, being out there.
Man, it's too bad that the Cape didn't take place this year. I'd love to hear some more stories from that. But obviously, you've got a bright future. You've got plenty of big stories coming up down the road, including this 2021 year with Cincinnati. Going into that and going into July, draft month, what kind of goals do you have for yourself? Where do you want to see yourself as a pitcher? How do you want to continue to grow?
Yeah, definitely. There's definitely a couple things I would like to, grow on, because there's something you can grow on all the time. But my main factor is, just kind of be myself. This is my draft year. It's a big year for me, but just kind of keep my head down and, trying to keep on what I'm doing to help the team, the university win. But I feel like if there's one thing I could do, it's I definitely want to, lower the walks, limit to the free bases, and keep on, when I do give up a free base or a hit, allow my slide step from the stretch, allow everything, to play off of that. So those are definitely a couple of things that I definitely want to work on.
Just as a total sidebar, we did get some footage of one of your bullpens from June or July. I want to say maybe it might have been on your Instagram or something, but we talked about it back then, how good the slide step had looked, how cleaned up your mechanics had looked. They really looked like they took a jump forward over the course of a year.
Yeah, definitely. I worked on it a lot with JD here at Cincinnati. Definitely some people back home. It really, I'm not really big onto the analytics side, but when you can watch video of yourself, there's only improvements from there. So I feel like that's definitely allowed. Like the video aspect has definitely allowed me to, fix my lower half to, kind of play out everything for sure.
The other thing I'm sort of interested, just having watched you as well, is what's in terms of your plan of attack with sequencing, like location, like where are you really sort of trying to command your fastball, your curveball, your changeup? Like where are the sort of zones or sections within the strike zone that you're trying to attack?
Yeah, definitely. I play my fastball off my curveball. I pound the zone. Definitely, I feel like with my fastball. I do like to throw, outside. I like to work out the end to right and lefties. But I feel like my curveball kind of sets everything up, because, in my opinion, a lot of people do sit on fastballs, or they want to sit on a fastball. So, throwing that 2-0, 1-0, I feel like definitely allows me to move my fastball until where I want it to work. And with my changeup, it's still kind of new, but I've seen a lot of positive things off of it. 1-0, 2-0, with that, that sink down to like a right-handed hitter.
Sure. Are you trying to attack up most of the time with the fastball, to sort of play the curveball lower in the zone off that?
For sure, curveball, middle of the lower half of the zone.
Well, hey man, we can't wait to see what happens with you this year. I don't have any more questions on the baseball side. Ralph, you got anything here? All right. Well, Evan, we got to end on a question that keeps you on your toes. We do this to absolutely everybody, and you're no different, my friend. So here's your chance to make friends in low places. What's the one baseball stadium on an away trip that you've been to that the fans were they need to bring it? Like they were just dreadful.
I would definitely have to say Auburn. My freshman. So my freshman, a short story. My freshman year, I came out of the pen on a Friday night. I think it's the first time. No, it's the second, time I've been out. And I gave up a home run. And man, that place was just chanting like that War Eagle, War Eagle. Definitely something in the back of my head for life. But it's definitely a cool experience to play there, and there's only good vibes there for sure.
That was a cop out though. That was the best fans. I need you to tell me who were the worst fans.
Oh, the worst fans. My bad. I definitely say Florida State. Man,
Florida State.
Yeah, you could just every time you pick off or you do something bad, you can just hear that little chirping and decided like your ears. So it's definitely a little hectic there.
Interesting approach, Evan. Selecting two teams that aren't in the conference. I don't know if they play you this year, but safe bet not to see them. Hey, man, it was an absolute pleasure having you on the show. As we've mentioned before the telecast, we're obviously big fans of your stuff. We think you've got a bright future, and we cannot wait to see what you bring to the bump in 2021.
Well, I appreciate you. I definitely, appreciate you guys taking the time at 9:45, a little late night, but I definitely appreciate it for sure.
All right, man.
Yeah, thanks a lot, man. Good luck.
Of course. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.